Game site CEO Adam Leib discusses the value of marketing through influencers. Streaming has become a massive part of the video game industry in just a few years' time, so much so that a report from the Wall Street Journal says that companies like Activision Blizzard, Electronic Arts, Take-Two, and Ubisoft are willing to pay a $50,000 hourly rate for streamers to play up their new releases. The story from Kotaku dives into that figure even more, speaking with those familiar with both sides of the arrangement to explore how streamers now play into the marketing process. As the story points out, arrangements with streamers present would be customers with something more authentic feeling than a regular ad, while still giving the companies footing the bill a small level of control over the content being produced, so long as they stick to endorsement guidelines presented by the FTC. The full read-over on Kotaku offers a more in-depth look at how that side of game marketing has shifted to include Twitch streamers, along with additional insight from several individuals involved in both the streamers and the publishers side of the deal. Outer Loop Games, Falcon Age, has made waves on Twitter, not just for its unique gameplay tailored for both PSVR and non-VR players, but also because it's a game that's just so damn pleasant to look at. A couple of weeks ago, on the DD Twitch channel, Chandano took the time to break down the creative decisions on Falcon Age. As Ekanayake put it, a lot of choices for Falcon Age were made in order to help the game stand out in a sea of heavyweight competitors. Here are our lightly edited choices from our chat with Ekanayake. We are a small studio. I think we have got about 9 people on this game. At one point or another, 7 to 9 people. So when we make a game, we always think about how does this game stand out against the Ubisofts, the Bethesdas of the world. You know, players have a choice of what kind of games they can play, and there's a lot of choices, right? There are games released every week and tons of choices. So, one of our design decisions early on was, how do we stand out? And also, the bird mechanic worked out well. So having the bird as really the main mechanic, the main hook, in our game, which we could do at the scale we are, was an important thing. I mean, for me every project's very different, right? And like, some things will hit, and I am pretty active on Twitter, and I follow a lot of indie devs, and it's funny, something I have realized, I guess, in the last couple years, is there's one way to test the market right. Co-founder, game designer, artist at Outer Loop Games working on our first title, Falcon Age, is game about becoming a falcon hunter on the reclaiming land from colonizers bound, Kdeadsoft Color Peak. Twitter.com zip for IFXKWT. I mean, the most common way is to put a game out and see if it sells, which is a pretty risky way of testing the market. But there are free ways to test the market, which is social media. So, like I have taken part in Pumpkin screenshots opportunities for multiple projects. I'll just throw a GIF out there and see what hits. And certainly, the social feedback has changed the design of it. To the imprint mode, to adding more baby bird stuff. I will do a GIF every week at different times of the day to test it out. And the things that may hit have always been the baby bird related things. Based on that I will generate other things. Outfits. Every project's different. Not everything's counterfeit. But for us, the baby bird thing kind of blew up after PAX. And we have been trying other things that are related to that on social media. So I think for us, marketing on social media has been super big. We just happen to have a thing that is interesting for Twitter. How does that translate to sales? I have no idea. Maybe I will talk about it next BD. I used to think that maybe I am tweeting too much about this game. And now I think certainly not enough. Because there's so much content depending on your Twitter circle on what you follow. Every time you tweet something, someone will be like, hey, is this a game? Is this VR or not VR? But that's the other thing we had to kind of figure out because we are doing both. People just assumed it would be just a VR, and not VR, because some of the GIFs showed that that's always a constant thing to reinforce. I have done side-by-side GIFs, where we show what the bird looks like in VR, and not VR. Things like that. In terms of times of day, man, I do not know. Sometimes it hits big in Europe. Sometimes it hits big in Asia. I just did something the other night at midnight, and it just blew off, because somebody happened to see it, and then they shared with their followers, and that kept going. So I do not know. The data tells me that if people are interested, they will share it. Time to go all out. Falcon Age is out on PS4 with .kps VR support. https://t Kobe 5 for observer pick. Twitter, /QC2ZLWS. In the beginning of the game, we have sort of this debug motivational posters in the colonizer prison. So one of the posters is, go off-world, earn a pet, as a way to be part of the Outer Ring company, being a worker for the company, and we put some friends and family pet photos on it, and if I can air part at, it cycles through pet photos. We got a handful of them, and then I was like, why do not I just tweet about it? See if people on Twitter want to submit images. We had 6. Twitter sent us 350 photos. People love their pets. Again, that's not some great marketing plan, right? It's just hey, this would be nice to throw onto Twitter and see what happens. The world of Falcon Age is the scale of Disneyland. I know there's been GD talks about this. The design and layout of Disneyland is the best thing for a level designer to study. There's always a point of interest, like the castle in the middle. When you are in an area, it's all encompassing, and as you transition between areas, it's really satisfying. So in our Disneyland, there are areas like this, where it's completely chill. You have NPCs. You can go hunting. Do this, and then there's more aggressive areas where you know that when you walk into them, the colors change and the music changes, and those are the refineries. So there are areas of high conflict, areas of low conflict. There are things, hopefully, to do, things to find, in places where you do not have to engage with the enemies. And for me, it's like a 6 to 8 hour experience. Depending. If you play non-combat, it's probably shorter, because you can just breeze through areas. But we wanted an area where you can just hang out here. I watch streamers, and they just want to go hunting, go hang out, go make snacks. We certainly did not design it for streamers, but it's more of how I, as a designer, would like to enjoy this game and the world. Watching people playtest at PAX East recently, DD and PAX West, and Day of the Dead, they just wanted to hang out with the bird. I think having areas where you could do that. The design of this came out of having these elements. You had a bird, and you have a player character, and you need spaces for them to explore and do things together, which also means, oh hey, what if we buff up the bird with these snacks? Which is very similar to Zelda's cooking, right? So if you are going to have a cooking area, you cannot have enemies attack you while you are cooking. I guess you could, but we did not want to. So when you start combining those elements in designing, it kind of feeds into itself, and ends up having these chain layers and not chain layers. It's kind of a natural progression of the design. Cuckoo tasks players with guiding a group of birds through tuning hands and pulling weights on 3 cuckoo clocks. Through having to manage the mechanisms of all 3, players have to juggle several inputs to keep the birds on track. Nikita Westdorp, the Overtimers, developers of Cuckoo, sat down with Gamasutra to talk about what drove them to create a controller out of a cuckoo clock, the challenges that come with turning clock mechanisms into inputs, and their work exploring inputs that just feel good.